You guys probably already know this, but I'm kind of a golf nerd, and I like to look at kinematic sequence charts of golf swings because I can learn a lot about ideal motion and speed. Today we're going to talk about the two movements, which are actually one in the backswing.
The future starts right now. I made a reservation, but you never came, so I'm checking out. The fire you stole away. I know one day we'll come back around. The future is now.
So I could bore you all day long with a kinematic sequence chart of a golf swing, which is really isolating body parts, putting sensors on parts of the body, and looking at their rotational speed when they accelerate and when they decelerate throughout the swing motion. But there's so much valuable information on how the body works in an ideal fashion when you look at these charts. One of the things that people tend to not look at in a kinematic sequence chart is actually the backswing, because everybody kind of focuses on, okay, the downswing and producing speed, where all the energy is produced and all that stuff. But the backswing is a critical part of how the downswing can function and how the body starts and stops and moves. So I want to talk about the backswing right now and tell you about some of the discoveries I've made in the swing motion of why I want you to maybe shorten your backswing a little bit, but why? And why it's not a short backswing. I take that term, but a lot of people swing the backswing too far. I don't want to say that you're shortening the backswing too much. I want you to have an ideal position of the backswing so you can actually generate the most rotational speed at impact. So the backswing, and when you look at a kinematic sequence chart, you see this. You see how the arms and hands and torso and pelvis work in the backswing, but you see something very interesting in a kinematic sequence chart. What you see is you see a separation of the hands and arms, and they speed up and slow down in this kind of curvature fashion as the backswing occurs. What you're seeing there is that this is stopping, and this is slowing down and stopping as this slows down and stops, as this continues. So you're seeing the sequence of events in the backswing. Let's go through it. So, and this is how I want you to feel it. You know, in my channel, and by the way, if you're interested in all this information, it's obviously a different take on how the golf swing produces speed and how we swing on a single plane. Make sure you subscribe to this channel because I go through the details of this stuff, hopefully in a helpful fashion so you can take it out and practice this. But here's the thing that's going on is when you move into the backswing, you're stabilizing lower body, right? So you're stabilizing lower body as you continue in the backswing. So you have the stabilization occurring. So what's happening is the pelvis is slowing down as the torso continues and the arms and hands continue. But I want you to pay attention to how much the upper body actually really works. Because when I go from here and I go to here, you're gonna see a bunch of shoulder turn, but that's mostly shoulders and arms and hands. That's not torso turn. See that? So what you're getting there in the kinematic sequence chart is you're getting a lot of movement to here of both pelvis, torso, arms, and hands. So you get all this movement here, but from here, this is stopping. This is pretty much stopping, and the arms and hands and shoulders move. Because I want you to understand that the shoulders are independent of the torso. They can move without torso movement. Look how much my arms and hands can move without me moving my torso. See that? That's the motion that's occurring to the top of the backswing, which is a lot. Look how far the club just went. So watch the backswing now from that perspective. Everything goes together, arms and hands and shoulders to the top, then I can transition. So here's what you see in this swing. Right? So people overturn. What happens is people go like this. They overturn their body. They turn too much. And when I say shorten your backswing, I'm not asking you to really take a shorter backswing. I'm asking you to sequence the backswing correctly, which means everything together, mostly arms and hands and shoulders, and then down. That's what shortens backswing. So I'm getting full range of motion out of your arms and hands and shoulders. I'm just not letting you turn your body, overturn your body, and get the hands way out of sequence. Now this is what I see most people do. they keep turning. So what's happening here is, as I'm going back, lower body is stopping, upper body is stopping, arms, hands, and shoulders transition. So that's what's happening. There's a number of variable stops and starts in that motion. But here's what most people do. They set up and they just turn their back to the target and try to turn through. They never allow themselves to stop and separate that motion, which is you see in great kinematic sequence charts of good golf swings, is you have a separation of arms and hands so you can lag them, right? So you can lag. So I'm going to do that again here, and you're going to see now everything together, separation, and then I'll accelerate coming down. So that is how the backswing should function. That's why you see it in that kinematic sequence chart. That's why I'm a nerd and I look at those charts, because you can see what's really going on in ideal motion of a backswing: separation, stabilization, lag, and then release. And that's what happens in the golf swing.